The only thing David has is a cigarette and a twisted ankle. They chat for a while and end up bonding, so Cassius agrees to help them reach the colony. The next morning, Abigail hears a noise and goes downstairs to investigate. A feral suddenly attacks her and makes her drop her gun, but Abigail can still kill him quickly with her machete. A second feral starts chasing her up the stairs, and Abigail uses the broken window to throw the creature out of the building. She almost falls too, but Cassius catches her just in time. By the time the horde reaches the building, the group is already gone. A feral trips on the wire and causes a small explosion that kills him. Sometime later, Abigail recognizes the area they're in and remembers there's a civil airport nearby where her father had a small plane. Cassius wants to keep moving and thinks an airport would make it easy for the horde to corner them, not to mention all planes are probably gone. However, Abigail and the couple vote in favor of going out, so Cassius has no choice but to follow them. After walking for a while, they find an old building and a car with a man that was shot recently. Cassius tells Abigail to check the building for supplies but refuses to actually stop to rest since he thinks they aren't alone. Abigail only finds some coffee and doesn't see the family hiding in one of the rooms. Cassius checks the trunk of the car and finds a wheelchair, so they use it to transport Megan. After the group leaves, the horde finds the building and completely massacres the family in a matter of seconds. When they finally make it to the airport, there are no planes around. David and Cassius begin arguing about how to proceed, but Abigail interrupts them when she finds her father's hangar. Fortunately, there's a plane inside and David has the mechanical knowledge needed to fix it. While he works, Cassius and Abigail search the building. Abigail finds a picture of her with her dad on the floor and puts it back on the wall. At that moment, the horde arrives, so the group rushes to get on the plane even though it isn't ready yet. Cassius opens fire to slow the horde down and David moves the propeller manually to help the plane start. Abigail's knowledge of flying is vague and the plane is going slow, so the horde is getting too close. Thankfully, she finds the right button soon and the plane begins gaining speed. A feral still manages to hang on the door and Cassius has to shoot it to make it fall. Then the plane takes off and the group gets to escape. However, they only fly around for a few moments before the plane starts failing and going down. Abigail tries to land it, but the plane crashes against a bunch of trees and falls to the ground. Luckily, it lands on its wheels and everyone survives with just a few wounds. There's a train station nearby, so after making sure it's empty, they decide to rest there. Cassius opens the map and discovers it'll take them 2 days to reach the colony, so they'll leave first thing in the morning. Abigail counts their ammo and notices there isn't much left. Megan and Cassius share some food and Cassius admits she reminds him of his wife. He reveals he had to kill her infected family and that later she self-deleted because she couldn't take it anymore. Cassius also shares the story of a kid in his hometown who got bitten. Since the wound didn't hit an artery, it took him a couple of days to totally transform. Meanwhile, David finds a private spot to check on his ankle, revealing it's not twisted. The wound is actually a bite and David knows he should self-delete, so he holds up the gun, but he can't bring himself to do it. The next day, the group keeps moving. As they walk under the strong sun, David feels rather sick and Cassius notices blood on his leg. He waits until the women are far ahead to push David against a tree and look at his ankle to confirm his suspicion. Cassius gives him the option to tell everyone on his own terms, but if he doesn't do it soon, he'll shoot him. In the evening, the group finds a house with the lights on. When they come closer, a voice asks them what they want. Cassius thinks it's too dangerous, but Abigail approaches the house and explains they need help, swearing they need no harm and mentioning the pregnant woman. Norton opens the door and holds them at gunpoint as he asks them to leave all their weapons in the chest outside. Then he invites them inside, showing a very sweet and welcoming attitude. Cassius points out the house's power and Norton explains he's an engineer, so he's built a few devices that provide electricity and hot water. He also mentions a wife but ignores Megan when she asks where she is. Norton shares his bread and vegetables with them and Abigail is happy to take a shower. Cassius can finally connect his laptop and look at old pictures, revealing his wife had been pregnant before the pandemic. When he checks on Megan, she admits she's scared because she hasn't felt the baby moving since they arrived at this house. She makes Cassius promise that if something happens to her, he'll protect her child. Afterward, Norton shares a drink with everyone and explains he's lived there for 20 years, but his wife isn't around anymore. He's heard about the colony on the radio but isn't interested in joining them because he likes being alone. Then Norton begins ranting about people being too obsessed with going back to the old ways and how humanity deserved the pandemic because they destroyed the planet in their ethics. He even compares the virus to evolution, saying only the strong people have survived. Cassius notices a strange knife on a table, but Norton takes it away. Feeling sicker by the second, David rushes to the bathroom and notices the infection spreading. When he comes out, he discovers his friends are unconscious because the drinks were spiked by Norton, who has put on a lab coat and is holding a strange machine. He can tell David is infected and activates the machine, which makes a noise that causes David to collapse in pain. Norton explains the device is like a dog whistle that only works on the infected before David passes out. Meanwhile, the horde has found the train station and continues the search. Moments later, David wakes up to discover the whole group has been tied up in a basement. Norton is there taking notes for his experiment and reveals that he's got his...
Please subscribe our channel and hit on bell icon. Hope you are enjoying. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.